Hey guys, welcome to yourmotorguide.com. So today we'll be reviewing the Hyundai i10 2008 to 2010 model. Alright, I've been using it for over 10 years now, and I would like to share my experience on what are the different problems, what sort of maintenance is required on the car. It has been used for very long. The mileage is around 300,000 kilometers, and so obviously there's going to be some issues, so we'll be sharing more on what are the different issues today. So let's get started right away. Hey guys, so let's start with the engine vibration issue. Okay, I've started the car. As you can see, the mileage is 350,000 kilometers. Now let me quickly show you why the engine vibrates. So as you can see, when I click, there is a lot of vibration on the car, right? So let me show you what is exactly the problem. Now there can be a few reasons why there is an issue. It could be the mount, the engine mount, right? It could be damaged, so you need to get that replaced. It could also be the transmission issue, so you might need to get that changed, or it could be the drive belt, right? So the drive belt might be damaged, and yeah, in order to fix the vibration issue, you need to get that changed as well, right? The engine does vibrate a lot when I drive nowadays, so I'll have to get that changed. Alright, so now let's get into the next problem, which normally is the leaking coolant, right? So the leaking coolant occurs mainly because of 2 to 3 reasons, right? One is the radiator cap could be damaged, right? Another one is the hose could be damaged, right? So the hose goes in all the way there, right? So at any part, it could be a leak through the hose. And lastly, it's because Hyundai uses these plastic tanks, right? So these plastic tanks normally could have cracks, and due to that, it could leak. The engine coolant could leak, and that's a very dangerous issue. You should get that checked immediately. I do have that issue, and normally my water leaks within a few days. It's totally gone. So normally I just pour in extra water, but you should get that checked immediately. Now let's get back in the car and go to the next problem, right? Which is the transmission problem. So transmission problem is quite serious in i10, right? And what happens normally is a gear slippage. So when I do go to around 40 kilometers per hour, then it gets stuck on gear 2. So when it gets stuck on gear 2, what happens is there is a gear slippage, and the whole engine would kind of jerk. When it jerks, then the gear kind of changes, and then only goes to gear 3, right? So that's another issue I currently face as well. Yeah, so we are looking into that. I think the only way this could be solved is the mechanics would need to look into it, right? Because there is a gear slippage. So yeah, the mechanics would need to look into that. So another issue is the brake pads, right? Usually i10, a lot of brake pads get worn out very quickly, and the reason why it happens is because the brake pads get stuck to the disc, and because of that, there is a lot of squeaky noise, right? Normally the front one is kind of okay, but the back ones are the major issue here, right? So I don't think you can see the brake pads from here, but yeah, normally when I brake, there is a very squeaky noise to it. Yeah, so that would definitely need to be looked into as well. You just need to change the gear brake, the brake pads basically. Now another problem is usually the electrical problems. So sometimes there are faulty wires and all linked to the battery, and because of that, normally there are electric issues like the lights would flicker, the windows, the power windows might not work, right? So for now, the power windows do work, so that's fine, right? But yeah, sometimes there are problems with the faulty battery or an alternator. You would need to go to an electrician to diagnose the problems further then. So in terms of maintenance, I think to keep the car long lasting, like for myself, we are already at 350,000 kilometers. That's quite a lot. There are definitely a few things which you could do, right? One is obviously check the oil regularly, right? You will want to check the black oil to see if it's still, the viscosity is good. Another thing, just check the fluids, engine oil, coolant, power steering fluid, brake fluid, those sort of things. You want to check whether it's at the correct level, right? And basically diagnose any early problems, right? And change it before it becomes too late. And then you would want to see things like the hoses, the belts running, right? Those sort of things. Just make sure there are no cracks and change it early on. Lastly, making sure the tires are well, right? So just check for any holes, those sort of things. All in all, I think the Hyundai is definitely a reliable car, right? We've used it for very, very long, 10 years plus now. There's no issues at all. It works very, very smoothly. There are problems from time to time, but it's a very long lasting car, so that's good for us. It's a family car, so yeah, I mean, we do not drive it too far, but yeah, if you do want to drive it, just check everything first, make sure everything works well, and then only you can drive it for a long distance. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do check us out at yourmotoguide.com for further information. We also have an article written on there for you guys to check it out, for you guys to see in detail. And I hope you do subscribe. We will be coming up with more videos soon. Thank you so much. Bye bye.